up, YouTube? We are back with another video, and who is it? It's your annoying friend talking to you about more shit that you do not care about, alright? It's pop culture time. We are back today to talk about Mr. Shawn Mendes. It was reported that Shawn had basically confirmed this long-standing rumor, which was basically that kind of Shawn had left Sabrina for Camila Cabello to return back with his ex.
So I'm with someone. 2 days before going to hang out with my ex, express I'm gonna go hang out with my ex because I have unresolved feelings. Maybe instead of 2 days, it could have been 2 weeks.
While we're gonna get into that, I also just wanted to do a deep dive on Shawn Mendes. What has he been up to? What is up with the new album? Because I feel like people have kind of dropped the ball on him a little bit, and I realized today that that is not okay with me. I'm not even like the biggest Shawn Mendes fan, but I'm seeing the picture and I need you guys to focus in, zero in on the picture, okay? But let's start it off with the relationship trio of maybe not the century, but I guess I could say the decade, the past year, maybe 2024. We award them like the most like interesting relationship dynamic drama that happened. The relationship trio was between Shawn Mendes, Sabrina Carpenter, and Camila Cabello. I feel like this trio really only got heat because Sabrina is starting to become like the next pop girl, and so I feel like the media is kind of running more stories on her. They're like, okay, there's money here behind this girl, let's keep talking. But just to give you a little background, Shawn had actually dated Camila Cabello for 2 years in 2019 to 2021, but apparently when they started dating, he had confessed to her that he's loved her basically since he met her when they were kids and she was in Fifth Harmony and they were touring like for their first time.
She goes, what do you mean? I'm like they're all about you. Like every song I've ever wrote. And I'm like rhyming off the songs. I'm like, treat you better, like all these songs. And she's like, oh my god. She's literally had no idea.
But they did not work out. They dated for 2 years, like I said, and they eventually broke up. And then Shawn ended up dating Sabrina Carpenter. We know that they were for sure dating around January 2023. But, you know, like, before a couple goes public, we know they're gonna be behind doors, dating, chatting, whatever, like, hiding the relationship. So the estimate is really that they were together probably for like, about 1 year. But then, all of a sudden, we see Shawn Mendes is back with Camila Cabello in April 2023. He is in Coachella, they're dancing, they're grinding. Camila's pulling him here and there with all her friends, like, you know, they're rave bays in Coachella. So we're like, wait, what? What's going on? Shawn does a magazine interview and he says, oh no, Sabrina and I were just friends.
Beautiful. We are not dating, but I think we should talk about Tommy Hilfiger probably more than Sabrina. But thanks.
Okay, cool. Like, I guess we got it wrong, it seemed like. However, we didn't get it wrong, okay? We're not stupid. And thanks to Sabrina for putting in the work for her career because she was able to get this story out there. Basically the entire, well, I wouldn't say the entire, but a big chunk of her newest album, Short and Sweet, is about Shawn Mendes and that relationship. Now let me walk you through a couple songs. In Dumb and Poetic, Sabrina Carpenter references a guy who jacks off to Leonard Cohen lyrics.
Jack off to lyrics by Leonard Cohen.
In Shawn's newest album, we have the song Hallelujah, which is written by Leonard Cohen. It's the only cover on that album. We know Sabrina Carpenter's leading single was Taste, and he basically talks about a couple getting back together like very quickly because he basically still has like her taste, the taste of her lips and the taste of her, you know, rubber ducky on his soft palate. We had reason to suspect that that song was about Camila Cabello because Sabrina Carpenter had asked or had Jenna Ortega, who's another Latina actress, act in the music video. We also know Sharpest Tool, she mentions that she's gonna waste another year wondering if this relationship was casual, and as we know, they're suspected to be dating for around 1 year total.
Guess I'll wait another year, I'm wondering if that was casual, then I'm an idiot.
But the last one, in Coincidence, Sabrina is mentioning that her boyfriend or someone she's dating basically like leaves her and gets back with his ex. And she also mentions that this girl, the ex, looks like Sabrina Carpenter. Now, we know that Camila Cabello goes blonde when she's promoting her newest album, CXOXO, and Shawn basically confirms this story.
So I'm with someone. 2 days before going to hang out with my ex, express I'm gonna go hang out with my ex.
I do want to say before I move on to the next point, if you guys haven't checked out that interview with John Mayer and Shawn Mendes, it's available only on Sirius XM, which is really annoying as shit. Like, John Mayer, can you please talk to Spotify and just get that thing on like a regular platform? I know that's probably an exclusive deal, but I created a free trial just to watch the interview. The next thing that is on the Shawn Mendes to-do list to talk about is he came out this year. Shawn Mendes was performing in Red Rocks, which is in Colorado, in October 2024, this year. And basically kind of just like share with the audience, like before he was gonna sing his next song, that like I don't really know where I fall on like the spectrum of sexuality.
Since I was really young, there's just been this thing about my sexuality, and people have been talking about it for so long, and it always felt like such a intrusion on something very personal to me, something that I was figuring out in myself, something that I had yet to discover. And
that's very cute. I'm so happy for him. I hope that he continues to just explore that, because I feel like if you grow up in the spotlight, it can be so hard to kind of find yourself, like in any way, just like kind of have like a sense of who you really are. I feel like it's like hard for like the average person like you and I, just like a regular plebeian, because the thing is like you have to consider, like as regular people, the noise that we have is like our friends, what they think we are, our family, who they think we are. And then we're like trying to basically discover like what's my inner voice. You want to silence everything outside. That's kind of like life's goal, to figure out who you are. And I just feel like for Shawn Mendes and any like celebrities, they kind of have that a little bit stunted. Like I think it's like it takes a while. So I'm just really happy to hear that. The last thing is we're gonna talk about the album, because y'all are running your fucking mouth. I've read through the commentaries, I've watched the videos, I've heard everything there is to say about this album. Shawn. Just to give a little bit of context towards Shawn's music, he was on tour in 2022, and then at some point within the tour, he ended up canceling the remaining part of the tour, which, as you can imagine, fans were probably pissed, sad, and annoyed that they had spent all their money because they wanted to go see Shawn, and he was like, sorry y'all, I'm having a bad day. No, I know it's like more than that, but I just feel like I get it. You have to consider your mental health. But I'm just like, dude, like for you're gonna be fine financially, whatever. People who are really committed to their celebrity or musician spend a lot of money just to go see them. And it's like, you have to consider the fact that you're not just canceling the show and giving the refund. It's like, wait, I booked the hotel, like I booked my flight, I booked like, you know, maybe like food reservations. My friends are going. I convinced everyone to go, and now the whole thing's ruined. We hadn't really heard from Shawn basically kind of in 2 years since then, and he kind of took that break for himself. But he then released this new album, which is called Shawn, and it was just released November 2024. So he's still kind of like lightly doing press, but I was reading like different reviews, and I feel like there was a lot of interesting stuff. Like people were complaining, one, that it was a mixed genre within the album, like he couldn't figure out what genre he wanted to do. And then they also were saying that like because it was like so stripped back, like his songwriting skills are not as strong, so it's like it couldn't carry the album. And because we do our research here, okay, we don't run our mouth without, you know, listening. I heard the album actually a couple times front to back, which by the way, I love Hallelujah. And I love when people do renditions of it. Shawn, you've made me fall in love with that song another time. But I was like, what is everyone bitching about? This album is not jumping genres. It's literally like a singer-songwriter album. I don't know what to call it. He has a freaking guitar, he's playing it, and he's singing, like telling stories. Like, it's that style, okay? It's like a Taylor Swift folklore. It's a freaking guitar, and the person's singing. The other issues, people were like, his songwriting is not that great. I was listening because people were saying there was like awkward lyrics in there, like he was like maybe over explaining stuff. So I was listening and I was like, it sounds fine. Like reading it, what lyrics don't sound ridiculous and stupid if they're just written down? You have to hear how they're sung in order to really judge it. And I was hearing, I didn't even notice the awkwardness of it. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're listening to something passively, and I played it a couple times, I was like kind of waiting for that moment where like the lyric was gonna like stand out to me and be like, oh, that was kind of stupid. But it never happened. Like the only time it kind of happened was in one of his songs. He is like having existential crisis and he's asked like, well, is it aliens that are in the sky or something like that? And I was like, okay, maybe, like, I don't know, just the word aliens, I was like, that's a little bit weird. But outside of that, I was like, didn't really mind anything else. I feel like what people are kind of mad about is like, he's not succumbing to their version of him. Like, he is so known as like a pop star and like, oh, sing this song, do this little dance, like, do this whatever. And it's like, he's just like, no, I'm not gonna like do all the theatrics. I'm literally just gonna do this. And I feel like people are kind of upset. It's like, wait, Shawn, we wanted you to like prance around and like be the jester. Like, why aren't you doing it? And it's like, he's like, I just don't want to do it. I also think it's like, he's not going broke anytime soon. And in watching his interviews as he's doing press for this album, he's really just talking about like developing his artistry. And I feel like that's really what's going on here. So, Shawn, we are rooting for you here. I want to see you continue to develop. You've kind of won me over as a fan. And I'm really hoping that everything shakes up well in your personal life. Like, I think he's a good guy. He's a good, sweet, shy guy. And he's a human too. Like, who doesn't like fuck up and do the wrong thing? So, let's all practice a little bit of forgiveness. With that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's episode. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!